Hello students. So today we are going to discuss about your seventh chapter, the settlements and migrations. First of all, we'll discuss about what is a settlement. So if we look around our city or a town or a village which we are living, so compare it with the below figures. So here you have figures you can see here. So whatever, if you are living in the city or you are living in the town, you are living in the village, so compare it with these figures. What you can see in these figures, you can find all the buildings, roads, drains, all this you can see in the pictures, right, etc. So these are organized in some way. So these arrangements are different widely across the world, as we shall see now. So whatever this, so these are organized in the different ways, right? So in towns different way, in village, in city different way. So these are organized in these ways. So whatever the arrangements, it is different from one across complete over the world. So what is that we will see now. The way we organize ourselves and our living spaces in a place is called a settlement. So in a way we will organize ourselves, like it means we should stay in this way, or we should do these things in this way. So we will organize ourselves only. At the same time, we will also organize our living space. It means our home should be this, like our area should be this, like our surrounding should be this, like. So we will organize ourselves and also living spaces. So this is called what? A settlement. That is the geographic space where we live and work here. So in a settlement we have different kinds of activities. What are that? The educational activities, medical activities, and religious activities, commercial activities. All these are included in the settlement of different kinds of activities. So in this chapter especially we will talk about briefly about the some of the aspects which are the human settlement and the geography it is related to it. So first of all, how were all these settlements have started? How these all settlements have begun? If we see, for about 1.8 lakhs years, so the early humans who are lived in bands as hunter gather. It means previous years in how many 1.8 lakhs years before it is about. So the peoples who are living, they used to live by hunting, right? So they did not know anything about the agriculture, so did not done any agriculture, they did not practice any agriculture. So however, owing to changes in ways of obtaining food and some bands, they took to the deliberate method of production of food agriculture. So at that time, for people, they doesn't know about anything about how to, what are the ways to get the food, or what are the methods to do the production of food or agriculture. As the agriculturists, they were increasingly, it means they are staying in a one place. So why do these settlements will change? So the settlements will change for many reasons. So we will see one example. We will see about the story which we have here. It is about the story. It is placed in the Delhi. So the city of Delhi can claim to have been the central to many empires that ruled our India. So the Delhi is the place where it is a very central place of city. Many of the different empires, kings, they have ruled our India. So when India has got the independence, when we gained our independence, the city remained as capital. So when we got the independence, so this Delhi city it is remained as our capital. And over the decades, the city has, after getting the independence, then that city has attracted to the people. And small areas, people they have started to go in that areas. it has attracting, so all the people are going from their villages to the cities and they are started staying there. It means they have started migration from all the parts of India. They have migrated to the Delhi in search of what? In search of the livelihood and jobs, education, dispensary, etc. For all these aspects are the reasons that the people are leaving their villages and they are moving to the cities like Delhi. So as the capital of our country, with the parliament and the central government offices, there are people from all parts living in the city. So this is the capital of our country, right? So here we can see what? Here we can see our parliament and all the central government offices we can see. And the it means all the maximum, all the parts of our country, the people they're coming and they are living in the city. So because of this, because of the people are migrating like this, the population has increased. That means more than two times. Firstly, how much it is, after that, when it has become the capital, when it has starting growing, developing, so it has increased more than two times as we compare to the before. So if we see, every city usually it has a master plan to design and allocate different types of areas, isn't it? If we see how the cities will be, it is complete. The cities will be with the different areas with the plan. It with the master plan. It will design. They will design, and it will divide into the parts of the different types of areas. So in any city, so whatever the city may be, there should be compulsory the housing areas first of all, and there should be markets, there should be schools, there should be industrial areas and office areas and parks and recreational areas and so on. So all this it should be must in any city. So basing on this, whoever the planners are there, whoever designing the plans, they can decide the types of roads and how much amount of water or electricity it is required to this area or this particular city, and how to dispose the waste and how to clean the sewage, etc. So all it is necessary to plan first of all. Who are the planners are there, they need to plan it first of all in any city. So the city of Delhi had three such master plans. What is that? However, if we look at the current present situation, it would appear that these plans have not been implemented properly. In fact, if we see our Delhi, it has grown completely in an unplanned manner. It means it is not in the way of any planned design city. It is completely as with the grown in an unplanned manner. So a planned colony usually it has completely facilities in every place, and these government has to announce the areas and demarcated for the different purposes also. So the constructions in the areas are expected to follow such an orders, and however it is clear that such plans have not been followed. So first of all, whatever the constructions are going in a particular city or area, they have to be planned. So they will, the constructions in that area, they will expect to follow such orders, but complete it is clear that they will no one will follow any such plans like this. On one hand, the population is increasing. There is a very growing population in the cities. It means the population are people are coming from the villages and they are started staying in the cities. The migration has started, so by this the population is increasing day by day in the cities. And on the other hand, if we see, there is a long delay in planning and announcing how the areas to be used. So the people are coming like this, but the planning is in pending only. They are not even announcing how they should be, how the area should be. So they are not planning here. The people who are migrating to the city from the villages, they are looking for what? They are looking for the work opportunities, and they started occupying land and they settles often without permission, without necessary permission. They build on it in the way they can afford with no help or facility from anyone. So they remain what? They are remaining unauthorized for many long periods. So when the plan is finally announced, what happened? The areas may be marked from the for a different purpose. For example, a particular area is for the particular purpose. So like this, they will mark, they will plan all the different purposes. So this leads to what? This can leads to a difficult conflict of situation. It means people are facing problems, people are facing constant threat of this eviction. They seek the political patronage from the being evicted from their homes, and also these colonies are not likely to be recognized because whatever the master plan ignored their existence. So these colonies also do not receive many public facilities. So people who are there here poor, but they have built the city and they have continued to provide all the essential services uh, which are useful to the city. What type of places are formed as the settlements? So to understand this, first of all we need to look at the basic concepts, that is first of all site, and second is situation and the history of the place. So the site, it is refers what? The site, it will refers to the characteristics of the place. It means if we see the site, then we can know about the what are the characteristics of this place. It's the topography and altitude, the characteristics of water bodies like lakes, rivers, underground water, types of soil, how the security, shelter for the natural forces, and so on. So all this we have to, it will comes under the concepts of the site. So in earlier settlement periods, the places which had favorable water supply and good protection from invasions were preferred. So what are the preferred places here? The places which are good favorable for what? The water supply and good protection. So these are the preferred places. For example, the Chhatrapati Shivaji, he have built a fort in what? Pratapgarh. So it is in Maharashtra. So this site was chosen because the altitude is good here, the relief is good from where all the surrounding areas it we can see. So this will provide what? This will provide the military security, and the people do not exist in the isolation, and they are in some way which are connecting to the other places. Like the situation, it will describes the connections with the other places. Like for example, the Vishakhapatnam, it is located on the coast and it will connect to many places in the outside of India in the waterways. So over the decades, over the many years, the Vishakhapatnam's population has grown. It has, the population is growing day by day significantly, and this growth is also one of the result of the importance of the Vishakhapatnam as a port city. So this population increases what? It can increases also, and also it indicates the growth in what? The economic and the social opportunities. And this Vishakhapatnam has a very long history. It has ruled by the different dynasties during the period of what? During the period of the colonial times. Like during the 19th century, if we see, the British and the French, they have fought, and they have a battle also fight over this city, and all the coastal places which are were immense the significance for the colonial powers, because they could build the ports there. So whatever the ports, they are unable to export of the raw materials to the colonizing country. In fact, all the cities like such as Mumbai and Chennai, so there were further, it has developed by whom? It was completely developed by the colonial powers to better exploit the natural resources of our India. So the fight for the Vishakhapatnam was for very similar reasons here. So here we have a table also, the population of Vishakhapatnam, as year wise we have year and population and percentage change we have. So we will discuss this about in the next class.